let's move on to Moonlight, and this is, I think this one got me more than Manchester by the Sea did, as far as like a
for sure.
emotional perspective. This is directed by Barry Jenkins. It stars 3 different actors playing the same in the same role
at 3 different stages of his life.
Yeah, really like the camera work in this. I think it has a shot at best take home best cinematography.
Yeah.
Arrival's gonna probably give it a run for its money there. The shot that's like that where they're learning, he's Mahershala Ali is teaching him how to swim. I think it's just so cool the way that it's like half in the water and so tight. They use that a lot, I think, as far as camera work, is just being really close to their face. Very tight shots.
Well, even here what we're watching right now, them playing, there's a lot of tight shots and a lot of, like, because he's a little kid and he's scared of everybody else. It's like they're shooting up, so everyone seems bigger than him, is more intimidating and stuff like that, you know? That's great camera work.
Yeah, and then there's that really cool shot at the very beginning where he's talking with his drug guy and he's like, they're spinning, or like, the camera's moving all the time.
They're just standing on a platform.
But I think it's kind of cool. Jeremy, don't tell me how they do it. It takes away.
I just thought, what's the guy's name? The other guy,
Mahershala Ali.
He just wasn't moving in the water, like unless it's.
Well, he's standing up. He's taller than him, right? And that's the thing with, we talked about Mahershala Ali. He's been in almost every movie. We talked about he's having a huge year, but specifically in this role, I think it has his biggest impact. His presence is felt through the entire movie, even though he's not even in the entire movie. And you think it was Dominic Rhodes? What's his? Trevante Rhodes. He plays the final version
of Chiron.
Chiron. I guess pick your favorite. Which is your favorite act? 1, 2, or 3.
That's tough,
right?
Yeah.
And why?
So, like, it's very much a coming-of-age tale. Like, I'm sure a million people have said that, right? It's about growing up.
It explores some pretty heavy themes, too, and some stuff you don't explore together usually the same. A lot of movies about growing up as sexually confused.
Yeah.
And then there's movies about growing up in the hood.
Yeah.
But those two together you don't see that very often.
Sure.
But continue. Sorry.
I know. I think it's hard to say. I'm going to say the second act, the middle one, in terms of how that really changes his life. And like, obviously, the first one, like you said, Mahershala Ali informs a lot of what the character becomes.
Yeah.
But this is just him as a kid, and it's more about the world around him. Whereas the second act is about him and like how he is changing. Like, if we're talking about a coming of age tale, that's the moment.
That's where he becomes
everything is so confusing and up in the air and angry and angsty and all that stuff, right? Like,
I think I like the first act most. I don't like the third act very much.
Really?
I don't really like it very much. I think, and maybe it's because you kind of see the main character we've been following putting on this mask for the world, and you don't like the mask.
Yeah.
Even if you understand the character.
You understand the necessity of it.
Yeah, and it's like, so it's kind of hard. And so I'm watching him portray something that we know he's not because we've seen him grow up that way. And that can be kind of hard. And it also, like, there's some pretty great scenes. When he talks to his mother in that third act is pretty great. But I think that because of how much having Mahershala Ali his character of Juan, what he means to him throughout that, like you mentioned, throughout his entire life, and how this kid establishes how the rest of the actors are going to portray Chiron through the rest of the film, right? And that is so important. This is the quality of acting that he does. I mean, it's a lot of not saying anything.
That's the one thing. Like, it's hard to get, like, he's a very quiet character. It's not that he's unemotional. And that scene, like you mentioned with his mother, there's a lot of emotion in that scene. And I found that rewarding. But he is a predominantly, reserved, quiet, shy character. So it's, hard to get behind, hard to think about.
There's a lot of layers in this movie, right? Yeah. There's a lot going on. You're talking about, like we mentioned, like the different the sexuality and like some of the more cliche stuff about growing up in the hood and all that kind of stuff. But because it's about Chiron and like this confused small child, like seeing the impact of bullying had on him and how that affected his life, and this like the ability of these actors to embody the same character throughout the year is so like you don't for a second believe, or not believe that they're the same person.
Yeah.
Which is like a pretty amazing thing when you think about it. Like, this is not like Linklater's Boyhood, where it's literally the same person.
Yeah.
This is actually 3 different actors. You know, they probably all
the same effect.
how funny, how great! I'm sure they'll be there at the like all 3 of them standing together at the Oscars.
There'll be plenty of pictures
Yeah,
like that.
and like that'd be kind of fun. I like the way it's shot. I like the, countering what you're seeing on the screen with this more very traditional score, classical score, right? That has like a really like I think the Chiron's theme is it comes back throughout the film. I think is really just sounds really nice, and like a lot of the times when I'm listening, like I'm writing my review, I'll go to Spotify and listen. If I like the score, I'll listen to the score while writing
That's
it.
interesting.
Yeah, huh. It just kind of puts me back into the tone and the mood. It's well directed. It's well written.
Yeah, I think this one probably best director has the best shot, maybe even best picture. I can definitely see that.
I can see this. Yeah, it also has those pieces that we'd already mentioned together that also give it some of that Oscar bait aspect. Not that it feels Oscar bait.
It doesn't feel Oscar, but that's the one difference is that this one is so distinct in my mind. You know, like
it's very different.
It's unlike anything you've ever seen, even though it's like a lot of things you've already seen. If that makes sense, right? Like,
well, it picks and chooses aspects of things you're familiar with and builds something entirely new from it. Yeah. Right? It's like taking apart different pieces of Lego sets and building a badass robot.
You know, this much Boys in the Hood.
Right.
This whatever.
Right. So, I think that some of the best work is imitating other stuff and taking the best pieces and building something that it can sometimes come off as like when we talk about like superhero movies and stuff can come off as fan servicey.
Sure.
But I don't think that that's what this is, obviously, especially
and nor is it's not an homage though either.
Yeah.
It's elements
it's its
of
own
these
thing,
things, but it's not trying to be anything.
It's absolutely distinctly its own thing.
Yeah.
There's no question there. I guess what? Yeah, so you picked your third act. Jeremy's not seen this movie.
Second. Jeremy hasn't seen it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's why he keeps disappearing for aspects.
I don't know. It's another one that was emotionally affecting though.
Yeah, it was.
So and props to them for that because
and the thing is like it ends in a really interesting place. Unless you're wondering, thinking about what comes next. Yeah. And I'm not upset about that. And whereas a lot of times I'm like kind of annoyed when they do that. Like, give me some closure. Yeah. You know. Not, you could kind of make the same argument that Chiron doesn't really change much throughout his entire...
Yeah, it's a lot of this stuff that we were complaining about Manchester by the Sea.
Right, but except it's different because it's over his entire life. So it's not really the same critique as far as... It's almost less fair to make that critique. It's like... It is hypocritical to some degree, but it's... Because how much do people really change over their life is, I guess, the question, right?
Well, you change, and he changes a bunch, but there's these core personality aspects that don't change, and that's the
difference where you can see that and understand that, and you're showing that across an entire life, or half of someone's life. When you're just showing a snapshot of someone, you understand understand their core personality traits, maybe, if they're doing it right. But usually they're trying to tell you about a big event that may change them, or in most movies would, but in this case we don't see that, right? So you can't really say that it's not fair that he didn't change or he did change. You understand why who he is and is consistent throughout. You kind of get it, if that makes any sense. It doesn't really. Okay.
It's hard to make sense of that. Of what we're just talking about, but.